What is the Tibetan Book of the Dead?
The Tibetan Book of the Dead, also known as Bardo Thodol, is a sacred text from Tibetan Buddhism. It is intended to guide the consciousness of a deceased person through the intermediate state, Bardo, between death and rebirth. The text describes various stages the soul passes through, offering prayers and rituals to help the deceased achieve enlightenment or a favorable rebirth. The book provides detailed instructions on recognizing the experiences encountered during this transition, aiming to assist the soul in navigating these stages with awareness and ultimately escaping the cycle of samsara.
What is samsara?
Samsara is a concept in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and other Indian religions that refers to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It is often described as the wheel of suffering, where beings are continually reborn into various forms of existence, such as humans, animals, gods, or other beings, based on their karma, the accumulated results of their actions.
What is Bardo?
Bardo is a Tibetan Buddhist concept that refers to an intermediate or transitional state between death and rebirth. The term Bardo means in-between state or transitional state in Tibetan. It is a key element in Tibetan Buddhism, particularly in the teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, Bardo Thodol. Bardo refers to various states of existence between major life events, especially between death and rebirth. These states are seen as opportunities for spiritual practice and potential liberation.
Who is the author speaking to, and what is the structure of the narrative?
The Tibetan Book of the Dead is written in a poetic and symbolic style, typical of Tibetan Buddhist scriptures. The text employs rich imagery, metaphors, and detailed descriptions of the intermediate state, Bardo, experiences to convey its teachings. The text is traditionally attributed to Padmasambhava, an 8th century Indian Buddhist master who is credited with bringing Buddhism to Tibet. It is believed that he dictated the teachings to his consort, Yeshe Tsogyal, who then concealed the text as a terma, hidden treasure, to be discovered later when the teachings would be most needed. The narrative voice in the text is often presented as a compassionate guide or teacher who speaks directly to the consciousness of the deceased, offering guidance and instructions. The primary audience is the consciousness of the deceased person, guiding them through the Bardo states. The text also serves the living, particularly the monks, lamas, or practitioners who read the text aloud during funerary rites to assist the deceased's journey. Structure of the narrative, introduction, and preparatory instructions. These sections provide an overview of the Bardo states and the importance of awareness and mindfulness during the transitional period. The Chikai, Bardo, moment of death. Descriptions of the experiences at the moment of death, emphasizing recognition of the clear light and the opportunity for liberation. The Chonyid Bardo, Bardo of the experiencing of reality. Detailed accounts of the various visions and deities that the consciousness encounters. These can be peaceful or wrathful, and the text explains how to recognize and respond to them. The Sidpa Bardo, Bardo of rebirth. This section deals with the processes leading to rebirth, including the selection of a new womb. It offers guidance on avoiding undesirable rebirths and attaining a favorable one. The narrative structure is designed to be used as a practical guide during funerary rituals, providing step-by-step instructions to help the deceased navigate the Bardo states and achieve a favorable outcome.
Why do some believe that the book is eerie and otherworldly?
The Tibetan Book of the Dead contains numerous descriptions of eerie and otherworldly experiences that a consciousness might encounter during the Bardo states. Here are 5 particularly eerie elements. Wrathful deities. After the initial peaceful visions, the deceased encounters a series of terrifying and wrathful deities. These deities appear in frightening forms with multiple heads, arms, and eyes, wielding various weapons and emitting loud, fearsome sounds. These manifestations are actually projections of the deceased's own mind, and recognizing them as such can lead to liberation. Disintegration of the body. The text describes the process of the physical body disintegrating after death in vivid and often gruesome detail. This includes the sensations and awareness of the body breaking down and the consciousness detaching from it, which can be a deeply unsettling experience. Hallucinations and illusions. The deceased may experience intense hallucinations and illusions that seem incredibly real. These can include visions of being chased, falling into abyssal depths, or being surrounded by flames and darkness. These illusions are reflections of one's own karma and mental states, meant to challenge the deceased's awareness. Judgment scenes. The text depicts scenes where the deceased faces a form of judgment, where their past actions, karma, are weighed and evaluated. This can involve encountering Yama, the Lord of Death, and other judgmental figures, leading to the terrifying prospect of being condemned to unfavorable rebirths or hellish realms. Bardo of rebirth. In this final stage, the consciousness is driven by karmic winds and faces the inevitable pull towards rebirth. The deceased may experience desperate and surreal visions of being drawn towards or entering a new womb. This often includes encountering symbolic representations of their future parents, which can be a deeply eerie and unsettling prospect, especially if the impending rebirth is into less favorable circumstances. These elements combine to create a profoundly eerie and unsettling journey through the Bardo states, reflecting the text's purpose of confronting the deceased with their deepest fears and illusions to achieve ultimate liberation.
What is the main lesson the author tries to convey?
The repeated lesson that the author of the Tibetan Book of the Dead tries to convey to the consciousness of the deceased is the importance of recognizing and understanding the true nature of one's own mind and the experiences encountered in the Bardo states. The text emphasizes recognition of the clear light. At the moment of death, the deceased has the opportunity to recognize the clear light, the fundamental nature of mind and reality, which can lead to instant liberation. Failing to recognize it means the consciousness will proceed through the subsequent Bardo experiences. Understanding visions as projections of the mind. Throughout the Bardo journey, the consciousness encounters various peaceful and wrathful deities, terrifying visions, and judgment scenes. The repeated lesson is that these are all projections of one's own mind. Recognizing them as such diminishes their power and fear, providing an opportunity for liberation. Maintaining awareness and fearlessness. The text continually urges the deceased to maintain awareness and fearlessness in the face of all experiences. By staying mindful and unafraid, the consciousness can navigate the Bardo states more effectively, avoiding negative karmic reactions and potential unfavorable rebirths. Recollection of Dharma teachings. The teachings and practices learned during one's life are vital. The deceased is reminded to recall the Dharma teachings, meditative practices, and instructions received from spiritual teachers, as these will guide and support them through the Bardo states. Avoiding attachment and aversion. The consciousness is warned against attachment to pleasant visions or aversion to frightening ones. Both attachment and aversion can lead to confusion and missteps in the Bardo, ultimately resulting in an unfavorable rebirth. Equanimity and detachment are crucial for navigating this period successfully. Overall, the Tibetan Book of the Dead seeks to help the deceased recognize the illusory nature of Bardo experiences, maintain awareness, and achieve liberation or a favorable rebirth by applying the wisdom of these teachings.
If we extract the esoteric meaning behind some of the descriptions, what are some practical ideas we can benefit from by reading this text?
Viewing the Tibetan Book of the Dead as symbolism and metaphor can yield several profound and useful ideas for living beings. Embrace impermanence. The text emphasizes the transient nature of all experiences. By recognizing the impermanence of life, death, and our daily struggles, we can cultivate a more balanced and mindful approach to living, appreciating the present moment and letting go of unnecessary attachments. Confronting inner demons. The wrathful deities and terrifying visions in the Bardo can be seen as symbolic of our own fears, anxieties, and unresolved issues. Confronting and understanding these inner demons, rather than avoiding them, can lead to personal growth and emotional healing. Mindfulness and awareness. The repeated emphasis on maintaining awareness and mindfulness during the Bardo can be applied to everyday life. Staying present and aware in our daily activities can help us navigate challenges more effectively and live more fulfilling lives. Self-reflection and accountability. The judgment scenes and the weighing of karma highlight the importance of self-reflection and taking responsibility for our actions. Regularly evaluating our thoughts, words, and deeds can help us align more closely with our values and make positive changes in our behavior. Emotional equanimity. The teachings about avoiding attachment and aversion can be applied to developing emotional equanimity. By not getting overly attached to positive experiences or overly averse to negative ones, we can maintain a more stable and peaceful state of mind. Compassion and interconnectedness. The text's focus on guiding the deceased through compassion reflects the importance of compassion in our own lives. Recognizing our interconnectedness with others can inspire us to act with kindness and empathy, fostering stronger relationships and communities. Preparation for life's transitions. Just as the text prepares the deceased for the transition through the Bardo, we can prepare for and navigate life's transitions, such as career changes, personal losses, and aging, by cultivating resilience, adaptability, and a positive outlook. Transcending illusions. The realization that the Bardo experiences are projections of the mind can remind us that many of our daily struggles and perceptions are shaped by our own mental and emotional states. By working to understand and transform our inner landscape, we can change how we experience the outer world. In essence, the symbolic and metaphorical teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead encourage us to live with greater awareness, compassion, and wisdom, helping us to lead more meaningful and fulfilling lives.
Sorry, but can we stop the interview for a second?
Sure, take a second. What is it?
I feel a bit weird. Well, I don't remember how I got here today. I mean, nothing. Can't remember waking up, getting ready, or even driving here. Not even sure where we are.
You don't remember, do you?
Don't remember what?
You led a long, beautiful life, and now you've returned here in your sleep to move forward with your lessons.
You can't mean that I'm... What? But I'm young. I have a whole life ahead of me.
Your young voice is a form of memory from your past. This whole interview has been a process to help you get to where you're going.
I'm not afraid for some reason, you know. I feel a deep sense of peace. At first I felt sad, but now I can see that the tiny figment of my imagination that I thought I was is the only thing I leave behind. I'm back to being what I've always been. All the love I've ever known here now.
You've always been this way, my lord. You just played pretend for a little while.
Thank you, Father.